And welcome back, Air Acolytes, to Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast. I am your fantastic host, Jason Roy Gaston, and the man to my side is the slightly less fantastic VHS Jace, but only slightly less fantastic. Good day to you.
G'day.
Today, we are going to be looking at Chapter 5 of Season 2. It's called Avatar Day. So, let's get Avatarded and head right into this episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So we open up with a tragedy. The gang is attacked and we lose a member. I was very shocked that they would do this in a kids cartoon. But a cherished member of Team Avatar is lost. And that, of course, is Sokka's boomerang. Sokka loses his boomerang, and with his boomerang being gone, so goes a piece of his personality. And he's got a big personality, so we don't really notice it. But to him, it's like losing an arm or a hand or a pinky finger.
Yeah, it means something to him.
Yes.
I'm feeling his pain.
I am too. But, like any good boomerang, it's probably going to come back. Eventually. I mean, it's not like they're going to do this whole thing where a cherished member of the team disappears for several episodes. We don't find out about him. It's really sad because that'd be crazy. Anyway, moving on. The gang comes across a peninsula, which is a great word, incidentally, peninsula. And there they find that there is a celebration going on called Avatar Day. And there
sounds great to me.
Oh, yes, and there's a huge float of Avatar Kyoshi, a huge float of Avatar Roku, and following them, much to the gang's amazement, a huge Aang float. Just being paraded down the streets, and everybody's having such a great time, and the gang is just like, yay, finally a place where we can be appreciated and loved and celebrated, and then they set them on fire. And they start chanting, down with the Avatar! Down with the Avatar!
I love Zuko's play-by-play as he's going, oh, look at that. They've got this. And they go, oh, there's a guy with fire. That's good. And he's kind of doing that, like just telling what's happening, going, oh, no, what's he doing?
It's a wonderful play-by-play. I especially loved the vigor of the guy. He could have just walked up and just set it alight, but no, he puts the torch in his mouth and he just cannonballs right through it. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't care if they hate the Avatar. That's awesome.
That was pretty awesome.
But of course, the gang can't let this slide because they don't know how to keep things on the DL. And so Katara water bends the fires out, and that leaves us with this absolutely bone-chilling, pants-crappingly terrifying image.
Yeah, nightmare fuel.
Terminator Aang. And Aang sitting there going, no, I'm the Avatar, and I'm amazing. They do the big close-up on his head, and his head goes ding, which I thought was fantastic. But the village hates the Avatar. They despise the Avatar.
Yeah.
And they're to explain their absolute, what is the word despisal real? It should be real. To express their despisal of the Avatar is international treasure James Hong. And some guy's shaking his butt. The first
Chin the Great.
Yes.
What a great name. Chin the Great.
Yes. It seems that the Avatar Kyoshi, big shock and surprise here, Avatar Kyoshi apparently murdered someone. I can't believe that, because she seems to be the most stable and peaceful of them all.
I'm going to say, from my perspective, she just keeps getting worse and worse.
But apparently 400 years ago, Avatar Kyoshi straight up murdered the hero of this village, Chin the Great. I thought that was Bruce Campbell's pet name, but no. Chin the Great was murdered. Avatar Kyoshi did it. Incident. I don't know if you know the timeline so far. I don't know if this has been said yet, but if you take the 400 years between Aang and Kyoshi lived 200 years. And I like to think she did it out of pure spite and anger. Like she's about to die of old age, and she just goes, no! And
well,
she just...
hang on. If she lived 200 years, that means by the time she dies, there's 200 years before Aang, which means 100 years prior Aang was around. So the Avatar before Aang didn't live that long at all.
Well, there's also Avatar Kyoshi lived prior to this event as well. So Roku, I don't know. Roku's life story is told later on. So he lived, I don't know, 60, 70 years. But
yeah, he didn't live that long, did he?
Yeah, Avatar Kyoshi canonically was over 200 years old when she died.
Wow.
And I bet she was still terrified.
Yeah.
I bet she would wake up in the morning and look outside. Oh, the sun is shining. And like a cloud would immediately go in front of the sun because the sun was scared of her.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah, she's horrible.
Getting back to what we were saying. She's not horrible. She just don't cross her. Don't cross Kyoshi. Aang gives himself up because he's like, I'm going to face justice and throw that. So they throw him in the stocks. And the only person that can save him is Sokka, who is quite smart and who is quite observant and who decides he's going to solve the mystery of who killed Qin the Great. And so
face it into the mystery, let's face it.
Yes.
Manipulated into taking on the mystery, which was a funny scene.
That was great. And what I think is funnier is that he gets mad later on when anybody tries to deduce anything. He's like, no, it's my mystery. Back, it's mine. But immediately they start poking holes in the story. There's a statue of Qin the Great, and there's a temple that Kyoshi came out of, and Sokka deduces, hey, these two are cut from the same stone. There's no way this temple and the statue, these two were built at the same time. There's no way that Kyoshi could come out of the temple. So I thought that was really great. That was really clever. I like it, even though Sokka is kind of a goof nut. I like it when he's shown to be an intelligent goof nut, and I just appreciate the character so much. Meanwhile, the Blue Spirit has returned, and the Blue Spirit be robbing people.
Yeah, not cool.
Not cool, and Iroh is kind of on to him at this point. He kind of knows, but on the other hand, Zuko's bringing home food and snacks, and so he's kind of cool with it that way. I would be too. The gang, however, in the meantime, has gone back to Kyoshi Island, the home island of Avatar Kyoshi, which is apparently not that far away. And they go through the relics. They get firsthand accounts. Suki, unfortunately, is not there, which breaks Sokka's heart. But you know what? He needs to keep his mind in the game at this point because he's trying to save Aang's life. But then they realize, hey, there was a footprint embedded in the rocks on the island that was supposedly left by Kyoshi, but her feet were huge. They were like size 28s. She was a big woman.
She could have been in the NBA.
She could have been in the NBA, but she would have been too tall, so they would have had to disqualify her. Plus, she would have murdered everybody on the other team, apparently. Avatar Kyoshi goes in for a layup, and 12 people are dead. 12 people are dead, and a Category 5 hurricane is ravaging the coast. I would actually watch sports if benders were in it. That sounds like a great idea. There should be a sport with benders in it, but it will never happen on this show. Anyway, moving on. I love saying things like that because he has no idea what I'm
You're just confusing me at this point.
I know. It's like showing you a bar of soap. One of my favorite jokes in this entire episode happens, and I love the fact that when it happens, it's so understated that if you blink, you miss it. And that is Aang talking to the other prisoners. Because at first it was like, you sure do have a pretty mouth, Avatar. It was that kind of thing. And then later they're all in a circle and they're just talking. And they're, it's because Aang is so likable and so wonderful and so friendly. He just won over all these prisoners. And as he's talking to them, he just takes his head and arms out of the stockade and just leans on it to talk to them. It's so funny. And if you're not paying attention, you don't even see it happen. He just, okay, hey, tell me more.
It's the Superman maneuver. He has to pretend that he's, he's really been caught, but he can get out of him any time. It actually enhances his moral stance. Like, this is how this guy is so moral and so like emotionally fixed into being accountable that he will give himself up, even though he can get straight out of it, just to face his responsibilities.
He cares about
He's
justice.
a nice guy.
Yeah,
he's a nice
great.
guy.
He's great. So Sokka and Katara return. And, incidentally, on Kyoshi Island, they're also celebrating an Avatar Day, Avatar Kyoshi Day, coincidentally on the same day. Isn't that strange?
Mm-hmm.
How weird. Katara and Sokka return. I think niet. Katara and Sokka return. They give international treasure James Hong all of this information, and James Hong is just like, "Oh, I don't care. I'm just going to find him guilty anyway." That was such a terrible James Hong impression. Let me try.
James Hong doesn't have to care about anything but just being James Hong. Just getting up and going, "I'm James Hong. Nothing else matters."
Yeah. I'm James Hong, and this is Avatar. You enjoy this episode. It's the best episode ever. Oh, let me try again. I'm going to find you guilty, Mr. Burton. No one can do it but James Hong. The man is an international treasure. Must be protected at all costs. I believe it was his birthday today, if I'm not mistaken. On the day that we filmed this, I think it was his birthday today. Let me Google that one time just to make sure, because I saw a post from him that said I'm 95 years old. Let's see, 95. James Hong. No, I'm sorry. February 22nd was his birthday. I thought it was.
But he's 95.
He is 95 years young, and may he be around 95 years after I'm gone, because I don't want to live in a world without international icon and treasure, James.
No, and we don't want our kids living in the world without.
No one. I want him to stand on a burning pile of all of our bones with a cup of tea going, I suppose this is a good career enough. And then, then he can just like become one with the Force at that point. Because no one deserves to live in a world without icon, treasure, and another positive, wonderful word for James Hong. But moving on.
He's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT. Iroh confronts Zuko, saying, I know you've been stealing things, but I really like the tea. Yes. He knows he's been stealing things. And,
But, I thought about this when I was watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if from his perspective, he had everything, right? Handed to him, he had everything he ever wanted. Now he's got nothing. He doesn't even have the coping skills to figure out a smart way to...
He's a brat.
He's just going to, of course,
He's a brat.
He's a rat, yeah.
So they have a conversation, and then Zuko leaves, and then the next day he comes back, and he's like, hey, Uncle, nothing can be gained from us traveling together anymore. Bye. Laters. Bye. And at that point, I kind of expected a big dramatic scene between Zuko and Iroh, but no. Iroh simply brings him a horse and wishes him well because he knows what Zuko needs. And I thought that was... There are characters in the show that still, even in retrospect, this is my third watch through of the series, even in retrospect, just amazes me with their emotional maturity. He could have thrown a fit, he could have used an emotional appeal to keep Zuko with him, but he knew that was not what Zuko needed. Zuko does need to be off by himself for a while. Yeah. And I love that.
Well, because in a way, before he had to protect him because he had his dad after him and the whole thing after him, but the stakes are lowered a little bit now, so he can be let free to make his own mistakes, which are guaranteed.
He's going to make tons of them, but that's fine. That's fine. Speaking of mistakes, they decide to let Aang talk in his own defense, and it turns out Aang sucks at that. He's really terrible about offering evidence that exonerates him, and again, great
animation cell.
Yes, I wish I had this hanging on my wall.
Yeah,
that's me just at my front door whenever I'm leaving to work every day. I want this animation cell. Like, you're gonna have a great day. So,
That's wonderful.
running out of ideas, they decide to dress Aang in Avatar Kyoshi's clothing, because that was at the museum on Kyoshi Island. And hopefully that will summon the spirit of Kyoshi, who will offer defense in her own, on her own. So she can tell them exactly what happened. And amazingly, it works. Kyoshi shows up and is like, I killed him and I'll do it again.
Yeah.
And everybody in the audience craps their pants and faints.
Yeah. She's scary. There's no doubt about it. But her motivation.
I killed him and I will kill you all.
Motivations aren't as simple as being villainous, though.
It's not. It's not. And we get a flashback to Kyoshi's time, and it turns out that Chin the Great was actually Chin the Conqueror. And Chin the Avatar, Avatar Island was once part of the peninsula. I still love that word, peninsula, that the city was on. And when Chin came to take over her city, Kyoshi was all like, "Nope," and she split the tip of the peninsula off. Let's just call it a peninsula circumcision, and sent it out into the ocean to become Avatar Island. And not even from her own actions, Chin the Conqueror falls into the ocean, and I don't know if he drowns. I don't know if he just like burns in the lava. But yeah, Chin the Conqueror becomes Chin the past tense. Chinned? Yes, he was chinned. Mm-hmm. And so that is how Avatar Kyoshi kind of sort of murdered Chin the Conqueror. But she takes responsibility for it. I killed him and I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a really great episode. This is like Avatar. We complained about last week, the swamp. Being not so great episode. Man, do they come back hard with this one.
The swamp was my favorite episode of the season. No, I agree. This is like top tier Avatar here, because they keep this. They could have gone into this serious, plotting story about justice and who's telling the truth, but they kept this consistent tone of lightheartedness. And how much more lighthearted can you get than the Wheel of Torture?
That is so great. I love the Wheel of Torture. I love that all the little drawings around it is just magnificent. The one with the eating, someone's getting eaten by sharks, my favorite.
Yeah. There's the bear, so I guess you have the ability to choose the bear here. Would you rather be in a forest with Sokka or a bear?
But some of the other ones are pretty great. There's one.
I killed the bear.
Nah, very cool. Those little touches though are excellent in this show.
I choose the bear because I want a snack.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have an Ask Avatar Kyoshi segment on the show one day.
I pretty well figure I know what her answers will be.
Leave your man and kill him.
Yeah, basically that would be it.
My husband snores. Kill him. My neighbor won't pick up his trash. Kill him.
That's it. That's it. But so far, what you're saying with those scenarios, it is solid advice, though.
It kind of is. I'm not saying that violence is not always the answer, but with Avatar Kyoshi, violence is the question. The answer is yes. But anyway, Aang chooses my absolute favorite part of the episode, and it is strictly because of International Treasure James Hong. The Fire Nation attacks, because when the Fire Nation attacks, everything changes, as we know.
Yeah.
Aang has spun boiled alive in oil at this point. James Hong comes up and goes, Avatar, you have to save us. Well, I can't. I'm supposed to be boiled alive in oil. Community service. Serve the community and save us. Hysterical.
Pretty great, wasn't it? But I can't, because I'm going to go for agonizing pain. That's awesome.
So there is a battle, and of course it's wonderfully animated. But at this point, honestly, it's like, I don't want to say it's the low point of the episode, but it is kind of the low point of the episode because it's just action, and this episode's just been so witty so far. So this wonderfully animated, exciting action sequences just kind of, It's like, here's the entire episode, here's the action sequence, just like that, just slightly less.
It's a world-building episode too.
It is, and of course we get the reunion we've all been waiting for. Sokka gets his boomerang back.
Yeah, that's the most important part. As an
ladies,
Aussie, you got to have your boomerang.
Ladies, find a man who looks at you the way Sokka looks at his boomerang. That's all I can say. Yeah. So the Fire Nation is defeated, and the village decides to celebrate Avatar Day properly with the Avatar as a hero, and they offer unfried dough as a treat. And that is where the episode ends. And when Sokka won't eat it, you know there's something
yeah, that's wrong. It. It's just really, it's just to keep Aang happy. But if Sokka's not going to eat it, it must be disgusting.
So yeah, this is a fantastic episode.
This is really good.
I enjoyed it immensely. The tone is light. It's maintained. It never gets serious, even whenever you think it should. It's laugh out loud funny, and it's wonderful from beginning to end. And let's not forget, international treasure and icon, world-class human being, James Hong.
Yeah, absolutely. This episode will stand out to me. I think as we move forward more with the series, this one definitely stands out as being just a delight to watch.
Yes, I completely agree. It is. That's the best word I can come up with. It's a delight. It's a delight. It's a joy. When it didn't have to be. It is a complete joy. This is the Avatar writers at their peak game right here, and I enjoyed it so much.
Which makes you think about the swamp, where they probably knew that they had a weaker episode there, or in a way, are they? This guy seems smart enough that they strategized it. Look, we'll give him a little bit of this because we got a banger next episode ready to come out. So, just brilliant.
Well,
just absolutely brilliant.
I gotta say, banger episode next week too, because we finally get the introduction of the last member of Team Avatar.
Okay,
and not a moment too soon.
All right, I believe the episode's called "The Blind Bandits."
The Blind Bandit, yes, and it's fantastic. If you like wrestling, you're gonna love this episode.
Oh, okay. I'm a bit like that on wrestling.
You'll love this episode though, because I have a feeling you're gonna love the last member of Team Avatar. I just
wow, awesome. And you know what? I've never seen any imagery of this so-called next member anywhere. Like
I have so
anywhere
many
on
memes.
any posters or any images. I've never seen it.
I have so many memes I've been wanting to send you, but I'm like, oh, I can't show this because it has that person on it.
So after next week, it'll be all good.
After next week, you're going to get like 58 memes.
All right, okay.
So prepare yourself.
Well, honestly, in our time, it'll be less than a day because usually when I've done the show, I go and watch the next episode.
Oh, absolutely. So, okay, so in 30 minutes,
I'll let you know.
Yourself.
I'll let you know.
Prepare your body. They are coming. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much from the very bottom of my heart for joining us for this episode of Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast. When you're watching this, we would have taken a break for a week because we all went to New York and we met and we hung out, and so we are no longer box strangers. We are box friends now, and I can say,
can you believe we're still doing? We're still talking though.
I know. I was going to say something together. I was going to say something very nice about you, and you completely ruined it. I was going to say this guy right here. We hung out for a whole day in Manhattan, and I got to say, this is now one of my truly best friends right here.
Yeah,
and I treasure this man.
All I've explained to people is just like, I had my Ferris Bueller's Day Off with this man. I think I'm Cameron in the scenario, but I'm happy to be Cameron in this scenario.
Whichever member is just captivated by squirrels, that's you.
Hey man, don't you knock the squirrels, man. They were delightful.
I would never. No, you know what?
That's his tiny little hands.
Awesome. I would never, because I had no idea Australia didn't have squirrels and you'd never seen one before. So you walk up and go, oh, is that a squirrel? Yeah, that's a squirrel. Oh my God. Click, 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 click. Oh my God, there's like there's 10 of them. Oh my God. I should have said, run, they're venomous, run.
I'm in a country with weird looking animals. You know, I am in a country where they mash different animals together to make a new animal. And so I understand you going like, you're impressed by a squirrel? You have these things. No, but the squirrel's cool. The squirrel doesn't look like it's trying to kill me, and that was refreshing.
It was. I love the way that its tail was like, choop, 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 choop. It's like, look, it's trying to warn you off. Isn't it adorable? You have lost the ability to make fun of me though. Whenever I see my first kangaroo and or koala though.
Yeah,
so
you'll see them all right. Yeah, usually just stay out of dark alleys at night because they do team up. It starts off, seems like a West Side Story kind of good musical number, but it turns dark in the end. Yeah. Yeah, the koalas are clicking their fingers on one side. And, yeah, exactly. You think I'm
oh my gosh, they're doing a musical number. Isn't that cute? Why do they have knives?
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrific. We don't talk about it much.
we don't talk about koalas. No. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying earlier, thank you for joining us for this episode of Breaking Wind, the Last Avatar podcast. If you would please like, subscribe, and make a comment because that makes YouTube happy. And when YouTube is happy, everybody's happy. Also, if you would be so kind, please check out the video description below for links to our Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You can help us make these wonderful contents that you seem to enjoy. And I don't know, if enough people sign up and do that, maybe we can have a reunion tour together. Maybe we can, maybe I can go to Australia and I can freak out about a platypus. And he's like, run, mate, it's got a gun.
Yeah. Yep. It'd be a lot cheaper for you, put it that way. You're coming down to Australia too, because the exchange rate is in your favor big time.
Well, we will have to see about that.
Yeah. But you do know you have to eat Vegemite every day. That's kind of written in the law.
We'll talk about that later.
Should have said about that. Should have let that bit go.
Vegemite is like if I took a mouthful of celery and threw up on tofu, and then squeezed the innards of a frog on it. That would probably be very close to maybe.
It was a highlight watching you guys. It was a highlight watching you guys.
You should be jailed for your masochism.